in alignment with Anita and Cheryl. She'd be Anita. I'd be Cheryl. Kind of like it says down there. You know,
Kind of like
our
it
names
says.
across the screen.
There it says we are.
We are live. We are.
Okay.
You found us. You found us. You found us.
Okay. I'm here. I'm there. Okay. I'm going to say good morning to all our people.
Yay. Good morning to
And
everybody on Facebook land.
It is a nice good morning here in central Alberta, Canada.
-2 degrees.
Sun is shining. What's the temp supposed to be like today?
Nice. It's -2 degrees Celsius. So
yeah,
that's beautiful for the middle of February. Cheers.
Yeah, we could be golfing in this weather if we didn't have snow.
Well, your hands might be a little
Sharon.
bit cold. Good morning. So, I wanted to do something a little fun this morning. So I shuffled.
Sure.
I started shuffling before we came on. And of course, our topics are always from Feng Shui Personal Paradise card deck, Tara Catherine Collins. And we had her live with us last week. And I'll tell you, that was just such a treat. She is just such an absolute doll.
That was so much fun. We had so many great comments and she said she would come back again.
Yeah, that's so exciting. And then yesterday we had the opportunity to be interviewed for a podcast. So that's going to come out here shortly. Are we allowed to talk about it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, give me a moment. You talk, I'll be right back.
Big shout out to Sandra and Azariel Flame, who interviewed us for North Viczko, I think. Do I have that correct? Yeah.
North Viczko podcast.
Yeah.
And they're doing some amazing things. Love them.
Yeah.
And I love how the feng shui journey just kind of
has really unfolded for Sandra and her entire family now.
Oh,
that ripple effect, which is 100%. Really cool, because her word for the 2023 is ripple. And what is your word for 2023?
Focus. Focus. Get focused, nice. Anita. Focus.
And mine is frequency. So those of you that are watching, type in, comment, what is your word for 2023? It's curious. Anyway, as I was shuffling, one card came out and I thought, 2 cards came out and I thought, I'm going to do 3. So we have 3 cards today. So it should be a really interesting blend.
I got to write this down.
Oh, yeah, you got to write this one down. This is going to be interesting. And, I'm not 100% sure because usually something going on in our energy field brings these up. So it's going to be interesting. So the first one that came up is the number 19 card ceilings.
Okay.
Oh, and I just heard somebody hit a ceiling. Oh, okay. Interesting. The second one that came up is the 20 card. They didn't come out at the same time. Fireplaces. So we have a 10, 19, right? 1 and 9 equals 10, broken down as a 1. The 20 card, broken down as a 2. And then we got the 47 card, wealth and prosperity, broken down as 11, a master number.
Good.
So yeah, this is gonna so who's watching that feels like they've hit their ceiling? Just out of curiosity, because that's the first message I got. And fireplaces. Do you guys have a fireplace, Anita?
Or, it could be the ceiling is the limit.
But that's what I mean. They've hit their ceiling. Or what they think is their ceiling. Right?
Right. So maybe that's all about limitation.
Maybe.
Perceived limitation, maybe.
And that is that actually blends quite well with 47 and wealth and prosperity. It has a belief in where you are prosperous, or I've always been broke. I've always, right? So that term always comes up. And that's a self-imposed ceiling.
Well, look at that. We have Sandra Von Holland joining us this morning. We were just talking about you. Were your ears burning? You had to pop on. And Sandra put a link in of where people can listen to your podcast, because we were thrilled to be on your as your guest yesterday, and I know that's going to be aired in the future here in the next couple of weeks, but I'm sure that you've had some other amazing guests on your show.
Yes.
So let's point some people in that direction.
Exactly. Exactly.
And Sandra's word is ripple.
Right.
And Sharon's word is vision for the year.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So, and ceilings, quite, there's lots of different ways we could look at that word ceiling. Like you said, it could be that perception of, do I think that I've reached my limit, or the ceiling's the limit, or whatever, but just know that energy expands beyond the physical space.
Exactly.
Right? That could be something that we need to just maybe expand our own connection, our own awareness, our own consciousness. Yeah. So it goes beyond the ceiling.
Well, really, that's a great opportunity to put on your feng shui eyes and look at things from an energetic perspective. I love that comment that you made, that really, well, and energy knows no bounds. Truthfully. So if we feel like we've hit a ceiling or we've imposed one, self-induced, because energy doesn't know any limitation. If that's the case. That's what I got when I started talking about that card. That was the message that I got. The Fireplaces one is really got me intrigued. And do you guys even have a fireplace, Anita? Do you have a fireplace in your house?
We have one of those electric fireplaces.
Right. Still a fireplace. Okay. If working, functioning correctly? Interesting. Okay. I'm not sure how Fireplaces fits into this.
Well, I mean, just the fire energy, right?
Yeah.
The fire energy of it that it's consuming, and the fire itself moves very quickly. And you were just saying how time, how it kind of just feels like things are speeding up. And so maybe that could be the whole, maybe that's again that collective energy that we're feeling.
Yeah, maybe.
Of that go, 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 just like the flame, we're, and then if we're moving too quickly, then we're going to run out of oxygen, because the fire is going to consume our breath. Right. So it's
or burnout. Or maybe there's that feeling of burnout.
Yeah. So again, it's that reminder to maybe connect to our own ceiling, which is up here, that etheric realm, and just regain some of that oxygen. I know for me, that's a great thing I need to do today.
Stopping and breathing for a moment. Yep. Okay, so then let's bring in and tie in the 47 card, Wealth and Prosperity. And maybe the wealth and prosperity feels like it's being burnt up. Maybe.
Or again, it's that opportunity when we look at, expanding our awareness so that we don't have a ceiling is the limit, right?
Right.
Taking some time to let the flame just kind of give us a little bit of kindling, right? A little bit of ember, so it's not all consuming. Then we're going to have more insight into that wealth and prosperity, that abundance, and, being in that flow of
Mhm.
energy, which is what we're all really searching for. And it's seeking us. Our body, our physical body is designed to always go back. It's always trying to find balance. It's always trying to go back into a state of homeostasis, no matter what we're doing, whether it's the sleep, whether it's how we're eating, So our physical body is always seeking to go back into that state of homeostasis. And so if we think about energetically, we're connected, we are connected to the energy of our space, our home, then that must also be true for our home, that in order to find that balance that we're all seeking, that homeostasis in our home, that we have to start looking at different things like, the ceiling, like the fireplace, like, all the furniture. Like last week, we talked about the dining room table, right? So all of those things come into play when we start seeing them energetically.
Yeah, very true.
And when we go, I've been in many homes where the ceiling is quite high, right? I've been in homes where you come into the front entrance and there's like this 25-foot expansive ceiling space, and then it extends into the formal living room, right? And at first, when you first walk into a home like that, you go, oh, wow, right? Your immediate reaction is, wow, like the space, it feels expansive and it feels grandiose and it feels, great. But now, if you were the person living in that space, over time, that's too much overhead energy, too much space between the ceiling and the ground, that you don't feel grounded, that you feel, not supported, those kind of things.
Right.
And again, when I've been in those homes with people and they've lived there for quite a time, and, they have spent an enormous amount of money and energy in decorating their formal living room in this grandiose style. And then I've asked them, so nobody sits in here, right? And they go, no, right? Because what happens is people don't feel safe. And again, our home is to make us feel safe and comfortable.
Yes.
And so that we can relax in this space. And so when you have that huge high ceiling, nobody spends time in there because they don't feel grounded. They don't feel protected. They don't feel secure. And they don't identify until we help them put on their feng shui eyes and say, look, this is why you're not feeling that way in this space. And then, of course, we can help them change that, right?
Yeah. I've also seen in that same style where the fireplace is a feature and it takes up like the whole chimney of the fireplace also expands, and that adds to that upward energy, right? Yeah. Also adding to, now you've got the fireplace taking your energy and you're up higher, right? It takes your attention. So it goes back to that. You can't get grounded. You can't get centered in that space.
No.
Having a fire happening in the fireplace, however, will bring your attention down a little bit, but most places don't have the fireplace going all the time.
Yeah. And again, you can look at some of those shows that they have on, the renovating TV shows, whatever it's called. And, they're always, putting the feature, right? The fireplace could be the feature of the room, and they're bringing, all of this attention and energy so that the eye is going there. But you're absolutely right, Cheryl, when the fireplace extends up, then where does your eye go? It's taking you up this way. And so what happens when you're walking around like this, right?
Miss what's in front of you.
Exactly. And here we are in the year of the rabbit when we talked about what's right in front of your nose.
That's too fun. I also, when we were talking about that, got an insight about after the fire, right? So, and abundance. So in nature, because we refer to Mother Nature as our favorite teacher, after there's been a fire go through, it may seem traumatic, but it's like a rebirth, right? So now the ashes have brought forth new life, and the abundance can come through all of that again, right? So sometimes having that fire and what has happened, right? So that could be a really traumatic experience. It could be whatever, if we can settle into after the fire. And the opportunities to prosper and grow. Right? It takes a fire, for example, for a spruce tree to be given birth, because the cones are created in such a way that it takes heat to pop the seed. And that's why after there's been a massive forest fire in a few years, you'll see all these little seedlings. They had to go through that transitional phase.
Yes. You know what, you were picking up what I was thinking, because that exact same analogy was going through my mind, because it is, again, that Mother Nature showing us that it's okay, right? It's okay if
things go a little crazy.
And even physically, if you get to a place of where you're feeling burnt out, it's okay, because your body is always looking to regenerate and rejuvenate, and is going to go back to that state of homeostasis. So whatever's happening for you right now, it's not permanent.
No.
Because energy is always shifting and always changing, always moving, always growing. Mother Nature, right? Always cycling. There's always movement.
Yeah.
And yeah. So that's so cool. Yeah. So we just have to get in our own ceiling today and just
very etheric today. So let's talk about the wealth and prosperity, because for many people, we see it in our vision classes. We see it when we talk about their homes, or when we teach a Bagua program. The one area that 9 times out of 10 comes up is wealth and prosperity, that they want to enhance that area. Wealth and prosperity has more to do with abundance in all areas. It's not just financial.
Yeah, it's abundant opportunities, abundant ideas. It's abundance in love, relationships, in
health, in all areas, really, because the Bagua is about all aspects of life being in balance and nourishing all other areas, right? So when we get that nourishing flow going, it benefits all aspects of life. But if someone wanted to specifically enhance their wealth and prosperity area, and I happen to have the Bagua picture right here. So this is wealth and prosperity area when we talk about the Bagua. Now, when we've talked in 5 element theory, which I have that card here too, the fire element is in the reds and the purples. It kind of borders.
Yeah.
Right? Which means the fireplace. The red, I don't know where this is going. I'm just, whatever's coming up is what's talking. There's something being created right at the moment. When we talk about the wealth and prosperity, we often talk about it as part of the water energy and flowing. Right? Yet it's a neighbor to fire, to the fire energy. So it's that balance.
Yeah, and I think the fire energy associated with the Bagua is more about the action, right? It's more about the action that we're taking in that wealth and prosperity area. Because, I mean, you can sit here and go, okay, universe, yeah, could you just drop load over here? Yeah, over here. Yeah. Oh, right here. Just drop that right over here. I just want that abundance to come flowing through.
Mm-hmm.
And then you sit there and go, okay, well, where is it? What, then it's not going to happen.
Right.
So it's about, I think the fire energy that's associated with it is we have to take some
Some
action.
action, the activity alone.
And it's, again, it's that movement of energy.
Right.
What are you doing to attract abundance in your life? And we often talk about in our decluttering program
Mhm.
about those limiting beliefs that we've all picked up, those programs that we have embedded in here that we're not even aware of. And so some of those things might be already showing up in your environment, that lack of mentality in that, oh, I have to keep this because
I might need it
someday. Or oh, you know what, that'll do just fine, right?
Settling.
Or it's about that kind of that self-love in there too. So I mean, there's a whole gamut of things that show up in that wealth and prosperity area. But again, you can put on your feng shui eyes.
Mhm.
You can go look in your wealth and prosperity area right now of your home and see what's being reflected back to you.
Right.
And then, maybe you need to add a little bit of that fire energy so that you feel more uplifted, that you feel more motivated in that space to do something.
And honestly, inspired action is the most effective. So just doing doesn't necessarily equate to results. I mean, you're going to get something, absolutely, but running around in all different kinds of directions isn't necessarily helpful. But if you're inspired to do something, if you were inspired to join us this morning, then this message is really for you. If you're inspired to watch this on our YouTube channel, you came across this because you were inspired to watch it. So the messages in this are nuggets.
Yes, inspired action. And
Okay.
we do have a question. Any suggestions for creating fire energy in a room? So if you have a room that you need to uplift the energy and make it feel more alive, right? I mean, we just look at the picture behind Cheryl.
Yeah.
And even though, I mean, elementally, those pictures are balanced elementally, the dominant thing that kind of jumps out at us is the color of that pinky red purple, and that would be considered fire energy. So it doesn't have to look like fire, right? So there's not a flame there. It's not a candle. It's not a light, because all of those things belong in the fire element category as well. But the first thing that we always see elementally is color. That's the first thing that our mind, starts to computate and go, oh, color. Recognize. And so that color then is drawing me in and making me feel uplifted. And then, of course, then we can look at the shape or the texture or what that object is to, again, do a fusion of elements. So for your question, do you have an image that looks, something like what Cheryl has behind her? That would be, a way to add some fire energy to a room. Adding a lamp. An
actual something that represents fire. Exactly.
I have a lamp right here that sits in, and this is on all the time, and you can't really see it until it's dark. But yeah, so that's fire energy in the room.
Candles, like you mentioned, are fire energy. Here's the thing. Don't go out and buy a picture just like mine because it's just like mine. It doesn't have deep meaning to you. It's not going to help you.
Yes.
whatever you put there. So take a look
Yes.
around your house. We, in the 5-element theory, which is a study all on its own, you can see the shape on the card. The fire element is a relationship with a triangle. So think about a fire, right? It's got all these dancing features. You can also go overboard with it. So bringing in a little bit of the color, and this is what I've done with clients when we've gone in and we need to just add a little bit of fire, right? Take a red scarf or something in the red, the orange palettes, and put it in the space. And just see how it shifts. See how you feel with that little bit of additional color. That may be enough, that small amount, because fire is very dominating. Like Anita had said earlier, it can be all consuming. So don't go paint your wall red, please. Oh, there you go. As simple as a book.
Just adding that little bit of fire energy to my space, right? Or you know what? I even have
well, you got words
here. I
behind
have all
you.
kinds of things.
Yeah.
I have my little plant here, and it's got some red on the leaves, and just that is a little pop of fire energy, right?
Exactly, and the shape of those leaves, that pointiness. Words like the written word are considered fire energy because of the movement. So right behind Anita, all in alignment, creating sacred spaces. That's adding fire energy. Words, animals. So there's a whole variety. In fact, 5-element theory is a study all of its own. But the simplest thing to do is look around your space, see if you have something in the colors that you would see in a fire, and just bring it into the space.
Yeah, and do not paint your walls red.
Do not paint your walls red.
That's too much fire energy.
Wow. That would be all consuming. And
yeah, because I had a client once. They had their bedroom painted red, and guess what was happening? There was the couple. The energy was like all over the place. They were arguing. There was a lot of combustion going on, right? So yeah, all in balance. Okay, let's quickly talk about the numbers. So if we add these all up, I got a 5.
7,
and
I don't get a 5.
Oh, what do you get?
Well, we've got 19,
which is a 1,
and a 2 is 3.
Yeah.
And 11 is 14. Oh, it is a 5. Okay, there you go.
I was like, okay.
You're right. We get a 5.
So that's all about change. And what were we talking about? We were talking about how energy is constantly moving, changing, shifting.
Yep.
Mother Nature always has something planned in her cycle. And just as with the spruce cones and the pine cones, getting that, they need fire to burst into their abundance. So yeah, it's all about that. Just recognizing that awareness that, change happens all around us every day. And if we're feeling that the ceiling is, we've capped the ceiling, then expand your awareness, because that's not the case.
I had to grab the book. So Double Digitology, Marilyn and Joy's book, because Adrain talks about the shape of the 5, right? So balanced and poised for movement, can roll around a little bit based on the shape. One of the points that is suggested that the 5 represents is seeking balance between the physical and spiritual world. And I just had the flash. The ceiling can actually be the balance point between our physical and the spiritual world. And you talked about right here, our ceiling, our crown chakra. So how perfect.
Well, and you know what? I just wrote the number 5 again. And you know what? You can take the number 5 and you can easily, when you write it yourself and you come around the bottom circle, you could easily extend it up and make it into an 8 very quickly. And the 8 is associated with the wealth and prosperity. So how cool is that?
Yeah, absolutely.